Stress has become the background noise of modern life. It's everywhere, in traffic, in deadlines, in conversations that feel rushed, in the way people breathe without even noticing. And what's interesting is that stress is no longer seen as a problem. It's almost worn like a badge of honor. If you're busy, overwhelmed, constantly tired, it must mean you're important, right? But then there's always that one person, the calm one. The one who doesn't raise their voice when everyone else panics. The one who stays grounded when situations fall apart. The one who seems untouched by the chaos, not because they don't care, but because they don't collapse under pressure. And the question most people silently ask is, how? How can someone stay calm when the world feels like it's constantly on fire? Here's the first truth that changes everything. Calm is not a personality trait. It's not luck. It's not denial. Calm is a skill, and like any skill, it's trained under pressure, not in comfort. Most people think calm people have fewer problems. In reality, they often face the same pressures: deadlines, losses, uncertainty, emotional weight. The difference is not what they experience, but how quickly they respond. Stress lives in reaction. Calm lives in response. Reaction is automatic. Response is conscious. Think about a moment when something went wrong unexpectedly. A message you didn't want to receive, a sudden expense, a conflict you didn't see coming. Notice how the body reacts before the mind even speaks. Tightened chest, shallow breath, racing thoughts. Most people get trapped right there. They become the reaction. The calm person notices it and doesn't obey it. That's the first quiet discipline of calm, creating a gap between stimulus and action. Calm people pause, not dramatically, not spiritually, not in a way that draws attention, just long enough to avoid multiplying the problem. Stress makes you add mental noise to an already difficult situation. Calm removes what's unnecessary, and what's unnecessary is often panic, catastrophizing, and the need to control everything immediately. There's a powerful example of this that shows up in everyday life. Picture two people stuck in traffic, late for something important. One is gripping the wheel, swearing, checking the clock every 10 seconds, heart racing. The other is sitting back, breathing steadily, maybe using the time to think or simply accept what can't be changed. Both are late. Only one is suffering twice. Calm doesn't mean liking the situation. It means not fighting reality when fighting brings no benefit. Another misconception is that calm people suppress emotions. They don't. They regulate them. Suppression is pushing feelings down and pretending they aren't there. Regulation is feeling them without letting them hijack your behavior. Calm people still feel frustration, fear, sadness. They just don't let those emotions drive the car. And this is important. The calm one is not detached from life. They're deeply present. That's why they notice what matters and ignore what doesn't. Stress thrives on everything feeling urgent. Calm comes from knowing what actually deserves your energy. If this is already shifting the way you see stress, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps this message reach people who may be drowning in noise and don't yet know that calm is something they can learn. Becoming the calm one starts with a subtle but radical decision. I will not let the world decide my inner state for me. That decision doesn't eliminate stress overnight, but it changes the direction of your life. And from here, things get practical. Not motivational cliches, not empty positivity, but real shifts that calm people live by every day, often without even realizing it. Once you make the decision not to let the world dictate your inner state, the next challenge appears almost immediately: other people. Because stress isn't just created by situations, it's amplified by human behavior, expectations, opinions, emotional reactions. The calm one doesn't escape these forces, they simply stop absorbing them. One of the biggest sources of stress is the unconscious habit of emotional contagion. Someone panics and you panic with them. Someone is angry and suddenly your body is tense too. Someone is anxious and without realizing it, your breathing changes. Calm people notice this transfer happening and they interrupt it. They understand something most people never stop to question. Not every emotion you feel belongs to you. Think about a workplace meeting where tension fills the room. Deadlines, pressure, unspoken competition. Many people leave such meetings exhausted, even if they barely spoke. Why? Because they were emotionally plugged in to everyone else's stress. The calm person remains present but grounded. They listen without absorbing. They respond without mirroring. This isn't coldness, it's boundaries. Calm people have strong internal boundaries, not walls, not detachment, but clarity. They know where their responsibility ends and where someone else's begins. Stress explodes when you take ownership of things you cannot control, other people's moods, outcomes you don't fully influence, futures that don't exist yet. Another key difference is how calm people relate to time. Stress lives almost entirely in the future, in imagined scenarios, in what-ifs and what-nexts. Calm lives in the present, not as a philosophy, but as a survival strategy. The calm one asks, what is required of me right now? Not 5 steps ahead, not 10 fears into the future, but now. This immediately reduces mental overload, because most stress comes from trying to solve problems that haven't fully arrived. Calm people handle life one real moment at a time. Here's a concrete example. Imagine someone waiting for an important response, a job offer, a medical result, a message that could change things. Stress fills the waiting with stories, worst-case scenarios, endless mental rehearsals. The calm person still cares deeply, but they refuse to rehearse suffering. They understand that anxiety doesn't prepare you, it only drains you before action is even possible. Calm is efficient. Another habit that separates calm people from stressed ones is how they speak to themselves internally. Stressful minds are harsh, demanding, constantly evaluating. Calm minds are firm but compassionate. They don't shame themselves for feeling overwhelmed. They don't panic about panic. They notice, adjust, and continue. When calm people feel stress rising, they often do something deceptively simple. They slow the body first. Breathe deepens, shoulders drop, jaw relaxes. This isn't accidental. The body leads the mind more often than the other way around. By calming the nervous system physically, mental clarity follows. And no, this doesn't require long meditation sessions or dramatic rituals. Sometimes it's a single conscious breath before answering a message, a pause before reacting, a moment of grounding before speaking. These micro-adjustments compound over time. This is a good point to check in with yourself. How often do you react before you breathe? How often do you answer stress with more tension? If you're finding value here, support the channel by leaving a like and subscribing. Small actions like that help this kind of grounded content continue reaching people who need it. Another truth most people overlook: calm people don't try to eliminate stress, they expect it. Stress becomes dangerous only when it's resisted or dramatized. Calm people accept that pressure is part of growth, but they refuse to let it become identity. They don't say, "I am stressed." They say, "I am experiencing stress." That small linguistic shift creates distance. Distance creates control. And slowly something changes. The world doesn't become quieter. Deadlines don't disappear. Problems don't magically solve themselves, but you become quieter inside, and from that quiet, better decisions emerge. The final shift that turns calm into something stable, not just a temporary state, is how you relate to meaning. Stress becomes overwhelming when everything feels equally important. Calm emerges when you know what truly deserves your energy and what simply doesn't. Calm people have a quiet hierarchy inside them, not rigid rules, but clarity. They know what matters in the long run, so short-term chaos doesn't shake them as easily. When something goes wrong, their first internal question isn't, "Why is this happening to me?" It's, "How significant will this be in a month, a year, 5 years?" That perspective instantly shrinks unnecessary tension. This doesn't mean they minimize real problems. It means they don't inflate them. Stress exaggerates. Calm puts things in proportion. There's a powerful example that illustrates this. Imagine two people facing the same setback, a failed project, a rejection, a financial hit. One sees it as proof of personal failure. Their identity collapses into the problem. The other sees it as data, feedback, information. The event is the same. The meaning assigned to it is what determines suffering or stability. Calm people separate self-worth from outcomes. They understand that effort, intention, and learning matter more than immediate results. This alone dissolves a massive amount of stress. Another stabilizing factor is how calm people treat uncertainty. Most stress comes from trying to predict and control things that are fundamentally uncertain. Calm people accept uncertainty as part of being alive. Instead of asking, "How do I make sure nothing goes wrong?" they ask, "How do I remain grounded if it does?" This mindset builds emotional resilience. You stop needing guarantees to feel okay. You trust your ability to respond, adapt, and recover. And that trust is calming in itself. There's also something quietly radical about calm people. They don't rush to explain themselves. Stress often comes from the need to justify, defend, or prove. Calm people choose clarity over validation. They speak when it adds value. They step back when silence is wiser. This conserves energy, and energy is the currency of calm. Over time, this way of being changes how others relate to you. People feel safer around calm. Conflicts de-escalate faster. Decisions become cleaner. You become the presence others lean on, not because you control situations, but because you don't collapse inside them. And here's the part few people talk about. Being the calm one in a world of stress isn't always comfortable. You may outgrow environments built on chaos. You may notice how much noise you once tolerated. You may choose simplicity where you once chose stimulation. Calm has a cost, but stress has a higher one. If this perspective has helped you rethink stress and presence, this is the final moment to support the channel. Subscribe, leave a like, and share this with someone who could benefit from a calmer approach to life. These small actions help meaningful content reach more people who are searching for stability in a noisy world. To be the calm one in a world of stress is not to escape reality. It's to meet reality without surrendering your inner balance. It's choosing response over reaction, clarity over chaos, meaning over momentum. The world may remain loud, but you don't have to be.